Hey there, thanks for coming back to the channel. So today I want to put up a quick video about a candle pattern that is absolutely primo. It helps me almost every single time, and I'm sure it can help you too. It helped me today take 3 trades, 3 of the 15 trades that I had today. Today I had 15 trades. I had to average in on a couple of them, which I typically start with 1 contract. But as you can see from my summary here, I actually used 30 contracts today. But my average trade time was 22 seconds, and my longest trade time was under a minute. And that's key. That is key to my style. So I want to get in on the bounce, get out quickly, capture 100, 150, 200 bucks, and then I wait for the next trade. So let me show you this candle pattern, and I'm sure you're going to get something out of it. Let's get right into it. So here we are on the Monday following the Trump tariff announcements, and there's a giant gap down on Sunday evening, and the market caught some bounces during the day and isn't really doing too badly. But the thing that I wanted to point out to you is that, and this is ES, and I've taken all the instruments off the chart. The RTH open started here, and some interesting things happened throughout the day, and I want to draw your attention to these boxes that I've drawn. These are 3 particular trades that I think will help you almost any time if you can recognize the candle pattern. So basically what I want you to look for is a little indecision candle that is followed by an explosive candle in one direction. Again, a little indecision candle that is followed by an explosive candle in the opposite direction. And here's a little indecision candle that's followed by an explosive candle in the opposite direction. And what happens is that if the market ends up coming back down to the area where there was that indecision just prior to the explosion, you're probably going to have a bounce there. You're probably going to have at least a test of a level, which this particular candle was marked out with this top, and the moment it touched, it bounced, and then it worked its way back down into the body of the candle and actually came down as low as this candle right here, the bottom of this candle right here. But this entire area is suitable to catch for a bounce, maybe multiple bounces. And I may have actually taken a couple trades right here. Now, did I take it for the entire run? Nope. I never ever do. Never do. I always catch it for 125, 150, 200, 200 bucks, and then I'm out waiting for the next opportunity. Now, here's what you want to do when you're watching these areas. Now, this is a 1-minute chart. It's got no indicators on it at all. Let's go take a look at a tick chart, and in this particular case, I'll use today and 512 ticks. So let that load up for a second, and you'll see some pretty interesting things. Let's go back to where that bounce level took place. And this is what you see. What you see, and this is that first area, what you see is a market rising from the RTH low. Then it got up to an area and it started to retrace and dance around, and this was an area of indecision. And it was wide at first, and then it got tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter, and then it just exploded, and you see nothing but green candles all the way up from this point. This is the area that you want to look to for your bounces. And again, I did take this first bounce, and I probably took another entry over here as well. Now again, if you move forward on the day, we haven't yet come back up to this area. But there was that other area that had that little candle that was followed by an explosive move in the down direction. And then it started to bounce a little bit and work its way back up. And actually, what you can do is, now what I've done with these boxes is I've encased that last 1 minute candle before the explosion. But what you can do is you can go to a tick chart and literally go in and change the size of that box to pinpoint the place and the area just before the explosion in the opposite direction. And when we open this up, you'll see that it worked absolutely perfectly right here and again right here before rolling over. Now, do you trade this all by itself? No. As I've always said, look for convergences on other charts and with other indicators. So in this particular case, let's take a look for a moment. I'm going to bring this back to a 1 minute chart. Then I'm going to put some indicators on the chart and see if there are any convergences in these areas that we can use to confirm the likelihood of a trade in that particular spot. So here we are back at the ES chart on a 1 minute time frame, and I'm showing the pre-market because I wanted to point out to you that, and now I've put all of my indicators on this particular chart, and as you know, I like to follow pivot points and half gap and previous day close and previous day VWAP close and the 100 and 200 EMAs and also the 200 EMA and SMA on the 5 minute chart as displayed on the 1 minute chart. I like to watch the daily profile where the POC is and where the value area high and value area low is. But the interesting thing about this day is that the market opened in the pre-market, and I'm not showing all of the pre-market all the way back to 5 o'clock the previous day, central. But as you can see, the market came down and recognized that it had a weekly pivot here in yellow and a daily pivot right here in green. And then it came up and did not get beyond the 100 EMA, came back down and bounced on this pivot point, came back up to the 100 EMA SMA and came down, back down to the pivot point. And here we have another one of those areas where you could draw a box and say, okay, we've got an area of indecision that precedes an explosion in one particular direction, which is exactly what happened right here. And then it worked its way, and then the market, the RTH open, happened right here at this cyan blue line, came straight down and didn't touch this pivot point or this pivot point. It came down to this zone right here. Now, what about the zones that we were talking about earlier? And again, you may not like having so many indicators on your charts. And you may not like watching not only ES, but SPY, SPX, NQ, Qs, NDX, and both VIXs. But, as I've said before, I'm a cyclist. When I'm coming down off a mountain at 55 miles an hour, I want to see every stick, every stone, every pothole, every boulder that's in my way. Because I want to know where I should be taking a bounce, and I also want to know where I should get out of a trade. If I decided to let my trades run, I would know that if there's going to be a bounce here, there's probably going to be some hesitation here where intraday VWAP is. If not there, there's going to be some hesitation here where VWAP is. And that's exactly what happened here. But that's a discussion for another day. Let's take a look at the 3 boxes that I put up earlier. This is that first box. Butting up against the day's POC. It exploded off of that point and came all the way up and down, bouncing on this yellow half gap line, going through, coming down to POC, So we've got a convergence here of this box because of this candle, POC. We've got the 200 EMA and SMA, which you can't see very well, and you have VWAP right here in white. And I can't show you at the moment, but there was also convergence on SPY and SPX in terms of the lines that were displayed at this spot on those charts. And again, here's the other box that has not been retested yet, but then here's that third box. And that third box is interesting because once the market ran down and touched this 200 SMA on a 5-minute chart. Now granted, this is a 1-minute chart, but I've got this set to 1000. So it will actually display a 200 EMA or SMA from the 5-minute chart on the 1-minute chart. So it bounced right there on that 200 SMA and started to work its way back up. Put in a higher low here. And where does it come? It comes to our zone, but what else is at that zone? We've got a pivot point, a mid pivot point, and that's the mid pivot point between this green pivot point and this daily pivot. This green is a support, green and yellow, and this is the main pivot. And the midpoint between, just like half gap, it's a valuable place. What's this line right here? This gray dashed line is ES's previous day close. And that's a significant area because the market will, if the market is bullish and comes down to previous day close, either on ES or SPY or SPX, it'll make a big decision at that spot. It'll say, look, are we going to be bullish today or bearish? This is the place to make the decision. Are we going to allow ourselves to trade into the previous day's trading action? And many, many times on a bullish day, it'll come down to previous day close and it'll say, nope, we're not going one tick beyond there. Now, in this wildly volatile day, you can't expect that that's going to happen a lot, especially when previous day close has been blown through a couple of times. 1, 2, tested, 3, 4, boom, boom, boom. But here it is lining up with this candle zone that I discussed earlier, and it rolled straight off of it. So really my main point was to show you this candle pattern, which is absolutely golden, especially when it's combined with some of the other levels that I track on a daily basis on the ES chart when I'm trading ES, but also on SPX, SPY, NQ, Qs, and NDX. Oh, I forgot to mention one last thing. If you want to see some of my other videos, I've got them listed below, especially the ones that are the basics. The basics discussing some of the primary levels that I want you to watch, whether it's the 6 major lines you have to have on every single chart, or the pivot points, or the volume profiles, and which charts to watch them on. I list those videos below, and also take a look at this next video. I think you'll get a lot out of this next video because it's about VWAP. VWAP is probably one of the most important things you want to have on all your charts, but not just VWAP, you want to have intraday VWAP on your charts as well. So this next video is going to discuss VWAP, intraday VWAP, what instruments you can see it on and what instruments you can't see it on. Okay, that's all I have for today. Thanks for watching. Please give me a like if you enjoyed this. Please subscribe. And also, if you want to see me trade live, let me know in the comments below. I think that streaming my trades would help me in the confirmations that I get for myself, and I think it may help you as well. So do let me know in the comments below if you'd like to see me streaming live. Okay, thanks again. That's all I've got.